Language classes provide much more than a break from other subjects. They are extremely worthwhile. I can honestly say that I learned more about the mechanics of the English language in my French class than I did in English class. While my French teacher explained the proper usages of definite and indefinite articles, I began to better understand the machinations behind the English language as well. Although some may think knowing French is useless beyond speaking to a Frenchman, the more I learn about French, the more I learn about my own language. Starting a language early can pay off in later life. For example, a student taking French 1 in 7th grade, such as myself, would have the opportunity to take French 6 in his or her senior year of high school. French 6, which would be an advanced placement class, counts for college credits. Any student unable to take French or Spanish 1, as they could be with this new policy in 7th grade, would be deprived of an advanced placement language course in 12th grade. This policy affects the futures of all students in Danbury, withholding great advancement for many. What do parents with school-age children look for when looking for a new home? Many of them would look at the educational system. A parent looking to move into Danbury might discover that languages, technology education, and family and consumer sciences were not offered at Danbury, would probably seek real estate elsewhere, hoping to find a school district that would provide such services. If this policy goes through, many parents looking to move will probably decide against the Danbury area. This will cause Danburian property to lose value, and therefore an attempt at saving money could be an economic mistake. Language classes provided in middle school are part of what makes Danbury a great city. Doing away with such an educational asset would be inconceivable. The Board of Education is planning on cutting language courses in middle school. As a 7th grader, I find that this is a besmirchment on the Danbury educational system and an action that I do not recommend. Finally, I would like to thank you for your time and appreciate your attention to this issue.
Thank you.
Sorry. One more thing. I have a petition of over 800 people who agree with me.
Hi, my name is Julie DeLuca. I live at 25 Regan Road. I'm here thanking you for the opportunity to be here. I was at the Board of Education meeting the other night, and I've really found out in speaking to council members and speaking to Board of Education members that there really are two sides to every story. The Board of Education says, well, we can only allocate the funds that they give us, and the council members say, well, we can't grow money on trees. And I agree with that. I'm not an idealist. I understand that times are tough. My proposition to you as council members is what I put out to the Board of Education. Create a round table. Successful businesses all around the country are doing this. They're sitting down with their management, with their employees, and they're trying to figure out how to come to an agreement somewhere in the middle, a happy medium that makes it work. I'm really hoping that somewhere between what the Board of Education is asking for and what the City Council is willing to give them, that there is somewhere to meet in the middle. But the most important part of this round table is it can't just be the Board of Education and the City Council. You need to involve the teachers. They're the ones that are in the trenches with these children every single day. You need to involve some parents who are active, who are involved in the school system. Let them know what our children need. My child is in 1st grade, my oldest, and my youngest is going to be starting kindergarten. So personally, I'm devastated by the potential loss of full-day kindergarten. But I also ask you to look at the magnet school. How have we been funded by the state? Have they followed through with their promise? And has it been a drain to the city of Danbury? I am personally opposed to the fact that there will be children in the city of Danbury who are going to benefit from a full-day kindergarten education because these cuts don't involve the magnet school. And that's on my tax dollars. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm very lucky to be a stay-at-home mom, but I'm a stay-at-home mom because my husband works very, very hard so I can be there for my children. I am an active parent with my children in their education. There are two sides to the story in this room. We have parents who have children in the school system, and we have people whose kids are out of the school system. I asked them to think about also who funded their children when they were going through the school system. The reason the cost of education goes up is the same reason the cost of a car goes up. They don't cost $4,000 anymore. I understand that we can't give and give and give till there's nothing left to give, but I really ask to please meet in the middle. Work with the people who are in the trenches, work with the teachers and the parents, and Common Council, everybody, work together and come to an agreement. This is a time for change in Danbury. We need to come together. It can't be finger pointing at he said, she said, it's their problem, it's not their problem. My child's future, our children of Danbury's future, is counting on us all coming together as a city. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Monica Ramos, 44 Stone Street. I am the middle school art teacher who will be eliminated if the mayor's proposal is accepted. I'm also a graduate of the Danbury public school system. It was the art program at the high school that gave me the motivation and sense of purpose to succeed in college and choose my career path. I was very proud to have been hired by the Danbury Public Schools and become a colleague of the art department that provided me with those skills and the direction I needed to achieve my goals. After 3 years of teaching, of course, I'm very upset about the possibility of unemployment. However, I am equally as upset about the 12 and 13-year-old middle school students I teach each year that will now not have the same opportunities that I had. There are many things I can say about the value of art and its importance in education. On the other hand, I think it's more important that before the council makes their decision that you all have an idea of what the average day for a student will look like if the proposed cuts are set forth. I'm a visual person, so I made you a pie chart. Students have 420 minutes of school each day. By contract, a teacher's total teaching time shall be no more than 260 minutes per day. Lunch is an additional 30 minutes, coming to a total of 290 minutes. That leaves 130 minutes of non-cluster time left per day for 1,100 students, speaking about Broadview Middle School where I'm employed. If the proposed cuts are accepted, there will only be 9 teachers available to instruct those 1,100 students for their 130 minutes of non-cluster time. Realistically, the vast majority of those students will be placed in huge study halls, while the rest will take physical education or music, or the very slim chance of art since there will only be 1 art teacher. Currently, PE and music, neither of which have a cap size on classes, are filled beyond reasonable levels. As a side note, it cannot be by coincidence that the music department has remained untouched by these proposed cuts. 4.5 teachers will be at Broadview Middle School, while other programs are completely eliminated solely because art has no cap on their class size. Next year, perhaps, it will only be the fire codes that prevent classes from reaching irrational levels. Things might sound good on paper and appeal to those who are trying to solve the financial challenges of our district, never play out in real life as intended, and will only create real-life problems for the students that live with those decisions. In closing, I urge that you not accept the mayor's proposed budget, for it will no doubt result in shortage of teachers at the middle school level. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Liz Durkin. I'm a resident of Danbury. I live at 5 Acre Drive. First and foremost, I wanted to thank you all for passing the proposed increase to the school budget. I think it shows that you are coming to the table ready to negotiate by meeting them, the school board, almost halfway, and that's encouraging to me. A little bit about myself. I'm very nervous, sorry. My voice is shaking. I think I'm a very rare breed in Danbury anymore. I'm a 5th generation Danburian. I don't know why I'm teary-eyed. My daughters are 6th generation. And I feel like it's so incredibly sad that over 30 years ago, when I started out in public elementary school, I had everything I possibly could have wanted. I had art, I had music. I was fortunate enough to be selected to be in the Gifted and Talented program. I had language when I went into the 7th and 8th grade, and I was able to take advanced placement courses that helped me to eliminate some of the costs for my parents when I entered college. It makes me so sad to sit here and listen to teachers and parents and residents of this wonderful city even be discussing some of the things that we are now. Half-day kindergarten in this day and age. My oldest daughter, did not get selected for full-day kindergarten. And after 2 full years of preschool at St. Joseph's School, was at such a disadvantage entering the 1st grade. I'm a working mom. Education is incredibly important to my family. My mother was a teacher all her life. The amount of work that I had to do with my Grace to bring her up now to a little bit of an above average reading level is incredible. In 3 hours time, between 5:30 when I get home and 8:30 when Gracie needs to go to bed, we have to work in a good meal, homework, reading time, homework reading time, and time for me to spend with her teaching her. In addition to bath and a little time to just be family. And I have 4-year-olds. It's tough. We are relying on the school system to give our kids a fighting chance. I'm asking you, please, to be tough in your negotiations with the school board. Please, to reinforce to them the importance of education early, and also the arts and language in our school system. All of the comments that we've heard tonight are absolutely valid, and I'm proud to be here in Danbury. I want to continue to live here in Danbury, and I want my kids to have, if not what I did, better. So I'm asking you for your support in that, and I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Durkin.
My name is Patty Alessandro. I live at 88 Stanley Ruff. I wasn't going to say anything, but I look in your eyes and I see hope. I see hope for our children. Growing up in New Fairfield, I'm embarrassed to admit I didn't go past North Street because it was known as Big Bad Danbury. But I am a true advocate of the Danbury schools. My nickname is called Danbury Patty, and I'm proud of it by my Newtown friends, and I use that loosely, his friends. But I am proud to say I send my children to the Danbury Public School, and I'm asking you to think of our children when you create this budget. It bothers me to hear middle school families thinking about moving out. If those families move out, who will be left? My children are doing well, and they're doing well because of the effort that our teachers are doing with limited resources. I'm also a parent at Stanley Ruff School, where we have 475 children. Our parents come together to do numerous fundraisers. They donate $1, they donate $500, but it goes to create a budget that we can give back to our teachers. We are ready to buy the Promethean boards because our parents see the need and the importance. And I'd like to finish with a request from my daughter, who said, please say something about the consumer arts and sciences at Broadview. If they cut these areas, they're taking away another avenue for our children to thrive. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Jeanette Draper. I am a resident, a parent, and a teacher in the city of Danbury. I wanted to give you an idea of how the budget proposal will manifest in our schools. 2 years ago, my husband and I chose to move to Danbury and register our children for school. I was certain they would receive a quality education, have the opportunity to take advantage of all the schools had to offer, and benefit from the culturally dynamic climate Danbury is so well known for. Over the last year, I have become concerned and disheartened by the downward direction our school systems seem to be heading in. Focus is placed exclusively on reading and math, while other subjects fall to the wayside or are eliminated completely. It is apparent that our school system cares primarily about the test. This occurs at the expense of providing a well-rounded education and by obliterating learning opportunities students were once afforded. I see for the second year in a row, our administration comfortably placed fine and unified arts as well as world language on the chopping block. I see that a culture of testing is systematically replacing a culture of learning. As a result, we may achieve higher test scores, but we will have created a society of graduates who know nothing of art or culture and have no experience with creative problem solving or the development of their own ideas. For the last 16 years, I have been an art teacher in this district. The fine and applied art staff has been labeled as specials, support staff, electives, as long as I can remember. It is perhaps such semantics that make it easy for our administration to rationalize the arts as expendable. Little, if any, consideration is given to the research that indicates students who actively participate in the arts achieve at higher levels. It appears to have been forgotten or actively ignored that No Child Left Behind lists the arts as a core academic subject, and with good reason. Arts education is quite likely a student's first opportunity with abstract thought. The core subjects studied in middle school continue to focus on concrete thinking which is based on fact. Math, social studies, and sciences are all classes where concrete thinking occurs. It exercises only one side of the brain. Nonlinear thinking, however, is a higher level of thinking. It is thinking based on ideas. This type of abstract thought is learned, practiced, and continually applied in our fine arts classes. It is here that students develop their own unique approach to problem solving. It is about the process, not the product. Please don't allow this type of learning to be dismissed, as it is precisely through this thought process that students become better adept to thinking outside the box and are able to distinguish themselves in the real world. In conclusion, balancing the budget is about dollars and cents for our town and for those who are faced with tackling this problem. However, the students currently in our middle schools, that's where I work at Broadview, However, for students currently in our middle schools and for those who are to follow it, and for those who follow them, it's about education and creating, not destroying, learning opportunities and preparing them for the future. They cannot have a do-over for these years. If this budget is approved, it will clearly result in cuts in programs and staff. Our students, your children, my children, will be negatively impacted by an unbalanced curriculum and a far poorer middle school experience than they deserve. And as a side note, I think that you should also be aware that so many of the teachers that will be personally affected by these cuts are Danbury residents, you know?
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak before you. While I have attended council meetings and public hearings before, this is my first time speaking, so I'm a little nervous. My name is Kevin Morgan. I live at 10A Grandview Drive in Danbury. My wife and I are both products of the Danbury school system, as are both our children. And in fact, we moved back to Danbury because of the educational opportunities that were available here, as well as the diversity that Danbury does offer. And I see that just going away. The opportunities that my children had will no longer be there. The thought of not having, I haven't heard of like this, but for art and industrial arts or technology as it is known today, for our students in the middle school, it is such a rough age for those kids to start with, to take away any kind of other opportunity for them to learn besides the math and science and English. I just shudder to think what the consequences will be for them. I speak in opposition to the mayor's proposal and ask you to consider increasing further the budget for the educational system, and I will be attending the Board of Ed meeting to talk again specifically about that. Thank you.
I do want to say thank you very much. You've all worked very hard for this budget. And like I heard the mayor say in the beginning, that no other department has gotten any kind of increase, but the Board of Ed has. I'm a little concerned that our own superintendent hasn't made it to this meeting, but yet again, he's the one that's putting through all these changes. They're all from him, they're not from you. And from the way that some of these people talk, it's you guys doing this. It's Dr. Sal that's doing this. And we could cut so many things within the administration. I know, I'm the secretary at the school. I see where the waste of money is. We have subs come in that we have to pay $90 a day for 15 minutes to stay there. And then, but you gotta put them to work. So, I mean, where you can have a student teacher watch the class, you can have a para watch the class. I mean, there's so much that could be scraped from the top. I've seen it. We cut teachers out last year because we needed to have 70 people retire. Meanwhile, we go get more administrators. And what have they, I mean, they had to have a data team, and they, instead of piloting a program, they got the program, it didn't work. It didn't even work. Now, well, I know enough that you should pilot programs. Maybe they should have piloted it in one school instead of bringing it all over the district. How much did that cost? All the teachers got all new laptops. Believe me, I didn't get to put a new computer, and I'm the one that needs it. Mine should be in the Smithsonian. That's what somebody told me when they came in. However, that's a story for another day. But anyway, there's a lot. Like the gentleman before me was talking about the illegals that we have. The free lunch program. We give free lunches to people that don't need to put down an address or a social security number. I have to put a social security number down when I go to apply for a grocery card. They don't need to put a number in. Some of these people live on Ann Hack. And that's where our money goes. We have people coming in that live in Waterbury, but there's no time to investigate where they live. But we have somebody that's paid that does investigating, but let me tell you, I'm the one that finds it out. I mean, and I don't get paid that much, and I don't care, because let me tell you, I was born and raised in Danbury. My parents worked hard for me to go to a Catholic school, and let me tell you, my kids go to the public schools. I have them both in Rogers Park, and let me tell you, the education they've gotten is marvelous. And I always tell people when I take them on tours, because they're always, oh, it's Mill Ridge. What do you think? Well, let me tell you, I didn't know how to find the school when I got there, because I wasn't allowed up there when I was younger. But now it is so wonderful. I don't get out of the house. It's just such a wonderful community. And as for, oh, sure, we can cut out administrations for principals and this and that. We can go to one principal on a campus. No, you can't. They're two different schools. Yes, King Street's 2 feet away from each other. Millridge Primary, Millridge Intermediate are not. So what, you're gonna have one principal running back and forth? No, unless you're there and you see what we do every day, there can't be one administrator. Let's get rid of the 6 maybe principals we have at Danbury High. Or when my sisters went to school, there was 1. I mean, come on. To me, this seems like no-brainers, and it's not. I know I'm not talking to the right people. But again, where's Dr. Sal? Where's the administration here? I know you're having a meeting next week, but come on, where is he? This is all his doing. But he'll say, oh no, they're rumors, or this. Believe me, I work there. I know they're not, and I know that parents are in a panic, teachers are in a panic, and no work is getting done because all this is going on, because that's all teachers are talking about. That I wasn't going to talk. But I will end now because it is 9 o'clock and I know everybody has work tomorrow. I don't.
Hi, good evening. My name is Paula Flosado, and I live at 62 Bottom Road, and I'm here too because I got 3 children in the public schools, and they're all going to be affected by this. My daughter, which I'm very proud, she's an honor student at Broadview. I received 5 or 6 letters from the mayor congratulating me on what she's doing, and she's going to be affected next year because, especially if they stop the French that they have at Broadview, and she's doing very good with that, so please reconsider that. Do not cancel that. Another thing I want to say is that the 3 kids I have, my 2 girls, one is 13, one is 10, went every day to school for kindergarten. They only started reading when they were in first grade. My kindergarten was full day. My son was full day kindergarten this year. He was reading within 2 months. So that makes a huge difference. Do not stop. It's not going to affect me because my son and my daughters are out of kindergarten already. You know, he's finishing this year. But for the other parents and for the other children, we got to keep in mind, our children is the most important thing. So if you all believe in that, you got to do the right thing. Do not stop full day kindergarten. And I'm not speaking for me, like I say, it's not going to affect me. But it's going to affect the other children for the other parents. It makes a huge difference. And like I say, I'm very proud of my kids. And that's all according to because of the teachers. That's another thing. We have wonderful teachers. Do not reduce the number of teachers. The more students you put in a class, the worse it is for the students to learn. The harder it is for the teachers. I just think, you know, my sister's a teacher, South Street. They keep raising and raising the number of students. And it just makes it harder for the students to learn. Makes it harder for the teachers to teach, makes it harder for the students to learn. So in order for the students to do good, you gotta have just certain amount of students for each teacher. I think it's very important that you do not cut the teachers. If you're gonna cut any salary, which is not for me to judge, but if you're gonna cut any salary, cut Mr. Pasquarella, which is not even here today. He should be here. And also, too many administrators. When I was growing up, there was no such thing as so many administrators. The teachers did all the job, not the administrators. If you think about it, that's all I wanted to say. I was not prepared to speak, but I wanted to say how I feel. So thank you very much.
My husband and I are both products of the Danbury school system. And I'm a teacher in a district, neighboring district, and my husband is a teacher at Rogers Park. So obviously for the two of us, education is everything. I have a 3-year-old daughter and 1 on the way. And when I think about what the budget entails for next year, I really, really, really get upset because I think about the lack of support of early intervention when kindergarten is being chopped in half, when there are districts surrounding us who are fighting for full day because they realize and they have researched in depth the importance of early intervention for kindergarten. It really does begin early on. And if we cut kindergarten to half day, then we're not giving the students the best opportunity to begin. Jumping to middle school, I am floored that the mayor and the Board of Ed would even consider cutting exploratory classes. I have my master's in middle level education, and exploratory classes for middle level education is the heart of some of the middle school system. It's what it is. Kids need an opportunity to explore what their interests are, and it really does begin in middle school. Their foundation is in elementary, and their opportunities to explore are in middle school, so that they are prepared for high school and beyond. So I thank you for being here tonight to listen to all of us speak, and I really would love to hear that the Common Council is reconsidering the school board budget for next year. Thank you.
Thank you. In the back. Next time, when you come, sit on that side. Just to be fair, I'll start on this side.
My name is Kristen Schwarzenmeyer. I live on Ironwood Drive. I am a product of the Danbury education. I have almost 5-year-old twins who will be starting Mill Ridge in the fall. And I am very, very, very concerned with the budget as it is right now. I think one point that needs to be made that nobody has corrected at this point is that while the mayor did increase the budget $2 million for this year, there was no increase the year before. So that while, yes, there was an increase, I think there's a lag that needs to be made up from the budget from the year before that had none. And I understand that none of you are responsible for any of the proposed cuts that are made, but I also think that you guys are the ones who are responsible for making the superintendent understand the need of the children in this town. And it is up to the board, it's up to you guys, it's up to the Board of Education, it's up to the mayor to sit down together and hammer out a budget that is good for everybody, that does not include cutting teachers, cutting programs, eliminating what is left of a full-day program, which quite honestly didn't exist to begin with. One class per school of full-day kindergarten is not acceptable. I have twins. One of my children could be accepted into the full-day class, and one of my children could not. And how do I justify sending one kid to get 6 hours of education and another 3? That's not fair to my children, that's not fair to me, and as a taxpayer. So what am I going to do? I'm going to pull my child out and have that one who potentially gets in a 3-day program, while other children are getting a better education and I'm paying the same taxes. And I think everybody needs to sit down, the Common Council, the board, the teachers, and the parents of these students, and work on something that will be the best for all the kids in this town. Because right now, honestly, I fear for the education of my children. And it breaks my heart to see what they're going to do next year. They're almost 5. They read. What are they going to do in a 3-hour program? How are they going to be taught? And that scares the daylights. So I know that times are tight. I get that. I've cut my household budget. Everybody has to cut back. I get it. But there's got to be a compromise somewhere for everybody to get what is needed for the children in this town.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, my name is Irving Fox. I reside at 58 Wedgewood Drive in Danbury. I'm the proud father of 4 students in the Danbury public school system. I have 3 children at the King Street complex, one of which is in the summer program. My oldest child is in Rogers Park Middle School, where he takes Spanish this year. Least importantly, I'm the chairman of the Danbury Board of Education. But I come here to talk to you tonight regarding our school budget. The conversation that we're having this evening is not only happening here, but it's happening in towns all over Connecticut and states all over the country. Every district across this country is financially challenged due to the economy, and every district in every state has a different way of dealing with that. Some districts or some states are cutting back the number of school days in the year. Other districts are cutting back programs, whether they be academic, athletic, music, etc. But most of the hard challenge to find a district anywhere that's having problems similar to ours or even greater. But what really is important here is how this community chooses to deal with this financial crisis that we're dealing with. The budget that you see before you today, work on that started several months ago, not only between the board and the administration, but with the active participation with several members of this council, including Mrs. Stanley, the chair of the education committee, and several others who attended many of our meetings over the past 3 or 4 months. The decisions that haven't been made yet, but that are on the table, affect everyone in this town, including my own children. And every possible way to kind of save resources for the classroom, to minimize the impact of the cuts that will probably need to be made given the economic situation. Every attempt has been made, not only this year, but over the past 2, 3, even 4 years, to minimize the impact of service reductions that we've been gradually seeing over the past several years. One of the, take a step back, we will continue to work with our vendors, our unions. Those conversations have continued almost continuously. If we go back 3 or 4 months ago, we started talking with our health insurance vendor, and we've been talking with our unions, but unless the contractual increases that we're already locked into change, it will be necessary to reduce programming. As it was said several times throughout the meeting, the final decision over what programs and services will need to be cut to meet the ultimate number that's approved by the council will rest with the Board of Education. But I encourage all of those who are here today, all of those who have spoken, even those who haven't spoken, to attend the remaining meetings that will occur in the Board of Education's forum, both through the end of April and probably through the entire month of May. As some people have alluded to, the changes that you see or that have been proposed have not been adopted by the Board of Education. The superintendent, as recently as 10 days ago, has recommended these changes. But it's very important for all of the citizenry, including the City Council, parents, students, and everyone else, to attend our meetings where we'll actively debate all of the options that exist and come to a conclusion that's least impactful for our students. We will have a public hearing at our next meeting on April 28th. That's our regular board meeting. We've moved that to Rogers Park Middle School. That will enable the greatest number of people to attend. So I encourage everyone to come and speak their mind. There will be an open forum and an open discussion at the beginning of the meeting for everyone to express their concerns to the Board of Education. The 11 members on the board listen to everyone in the community, and everyone who speaks needs that voice to be heard. So I encourage everyone to come at April 28th and our 2 meetings in May before the budget is adopted. Thank you very much. Mr. Black.